So my question is not about it, right? I didn't talk to her, she was very district. Hey, this is me. Centurylink still in the mix. What? So Centurylink, yes.
Well, I seen his pictures last night. Snow machine.
That's just the first one. No. Yeah, literally, we walked in, we were back. It's all just time. I stood up there, sent in a warrant after. Really? Right there, that's one about the. Yeah, so. But no, it was. I saw it. Yeah. I saw it. You almost beat me back to Madison.
Huh?
You almost beat me back to Madison with your store.
Yeah, I run it at home. I mean, I wait till I got home.
I had to hit lunch.
I had to do the rest.
You're not starting until like 2 minutes before. You don't get all this juicy stuff and no one have it. Yeah, that's kind of. You get people along. Oh, go ahead. As you were. This is why I like good people. You police me. No, that was a bumpy come through. There you go.
What he's saying is
What do you think? Bruce, you gonna cue this up when it gets to public comment?
Yes, sir.
Hey, David, Lauren, you're ready for an interview on Redistricting. I was over in Green County, not before. We know no more than you.
Uh-huh.
We got those years.
Did they really? Oh, wow. Man. That's not very nice.
Early.
Yeah.
It was a long weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've had a few of those. I had one over on the Eastern Shore. They had me there I had sat through 3 hours of the board meeting, then finally got up, and then had a 4.5 hour drive home. So it was. So yeah, I've been there, but it's always nice when you're kind of close to the front. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just scroll through it. Okay. Yep. Oh, yeah.
We're already in session. Somebody else just be. Oh, I haven't started. Yeah, it should be. 12, 14. I don't know how it got started though. Wait a minute, what don't we do? I don't know why.
Sorry.
Have to check the whatchamacallit. That was my training, and I'll give it to you. I'm gonna go grab mine.
Conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, almost ready to hear them. Almost ready to hear Madison showed up. Did you see it? Huh? Yeah. What? This is true. That was my favorite one ever. This is true, but I could have used some clothes. Would have been nice. So, yeah. If when they get the press conference, I'll try to get about 3 minutes. Before I got pushed out by TV crew. What? Culture stir. That'd be good. Ooh, it's good. Are you presenting something today? No.
That's right.
Oh, what you dressed up for?
Hey,
Mr. Jackson.
you want to share that trivia? That's part of it.
Happy
birthday. It is. Is it your birthday, isn't it?
It is my birthday.
Right. 57?
Is that the first to that? Yes, sir.
How old are you?
You're not getting out of this one.
Jackie Robinson.
Are you? He wouldn't have paid. I was a young bloke.
Mr. Snapper. Right.
All right. You old bro.
When was the,
Like those board supervisors to order, as always, let's start with pledge of allegiance and moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you. We do have an agenda in front of us. The only one that I've got to add, and I'd like to put it as 10A, is an emergency services fiber run supplemental appropriation. Is that
I think Mr. Gordon's, it's just like radio project supplemental.
all right?
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
don't want to get Noah and them in the back room, a little antsy.
What do you think it should be called, Brian?
ECC 501.
There you go. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Anybody else have anything we need to add to it? Jonathan?
No, sir. Just for the record, Mr. McGee caught some minutes corrections. So Alan has done that. That's in your packet tonight. So just to let you know.
Thank you. What would y'all like to do with the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second. Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. As always, let's start with public comment. Public comment. All right, we'll do it again at the end. We do have a consent agenda. It's minutes of 11:23-21 and then 12:01-21. Ms. McGee's done some corrections. Thank you. Anybody, what does everybody want to do?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Special appearances. Mr. Foley, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you all for having me here this afternoon. And my name's David Foley. I'm a partner with Robinson Farmer Cox Associates, and we completed the audit for the county's fiscal year ended June 30th, 2021, and here to present the results of that to you all. As part of the audit, we issue two different documents. One is the audited financial report, and the second is our communication letter with those charged with governance. I'll start first with the audited financial report. So for the audit that we do for the county, there's really three main pieces to that audit. One, of course, we audit the financial statements to make sure that they're prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And then the other two pieces of the audit that we do in accordance with government auditing standards. One of which is, in addition to just looking at the numbers themselves, we look at the county's internal controls that it has over financial reporting, and we'll go through and test those controls to make sure that they're operating as they were designed to. And then the third piece of the audit that we do is the federal compliance audit. So as part of the audit for the major federal grant programs, there's various compliance requirements that the county has to comply with when it's carrying out and expending its major federal spending its grant programs. And basically OMB provides a compliance supplement with the whole list of those requirements. And so as part of the audit, we go through those to make sure that the county is in compliance with those standards. So those are the three main pieces of the audit that we do for the county. So as such, included in the audited financial report, there's three different reports from us that communicate the results of the audit. The first report from us is in the front of the report on numbered page 1. And this is our independent auditor's report. And so in this report, we state that we did perform an audit on the county's financial statements. This report talks about management's responsibility for the financial statements, which management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. This report talks about our responsibilities as auditors, which we are to issue an opinion on the county's financial statements. Also states we did perform our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. And over on page 2 at the top is the opinion that we have issued on the county's financial statements, which we have issued a unmodified opinion on the county's financial statements, which an unmodified opinion is the cleanest opinion an auditor can give on the set of financial statements. Basically, an unmodified opinion means that the county's financial statements have been prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So again, clean opinion on the financial statements. The other two reports from us are in the back of the report in the compliance section. The first one back there is on numbered page 141. And this first report back here is our report on the county's internal controls over financial reporting. This report was clean as well. No significant deficiencies or material weaknesses were noted in the county's internal control over financial reporting. We feel that the county does have strong controls in place over its financial reporting. And then the third and final report from us is 2 pages over on page 143. This is our report over the county's compliance with its major federal grant programs. This report was clean as well. No significant deficiencies or material weaknesses were noted in the county's compliance with its major federal grant programs. In addition, there were also no other items of non-compliance noted as far as federal compliance. So again, that report was clean as well. So all three reports included in the county's financial statements were clean. So very clean audit again this year for the county. Would like to, in addition to just the opinions from us, just would like to highlight a few financial statements. The first one I'd like to talk about is back towards the front on numbered page 14. And so numbered page 14, this is Exhibit 3, which is the balance sheet of the governmental funds for the county. There's two funds reported here, the county's general fund, which is the main operating fund of the county. And then there's the capital improvement fund. And then there's a total that combines the two. Again, the balance sheet, this reports the assets, liabilities, and fund balance at the end of the fiscal year. So we can see total assets for the county's general fund at the end of the fiscal year was $32.7 million compared to total liabilities and deferred inflows of about 8.3 at the end of the fiscal year. And then that left the county with a ending fund balance, total ending fund balance of $24.3 million at the end of the year. And then that fund balance is further broken down in between the various categories, non-spendable, restricted, committed, assigned, and unassigned. And you can see the county's unassigned fund balance was a little over $15 million at the end of the fiscal year. The next page over is Exhibit 4. And this is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the governmental funds. Again, two funds reported here, the general fund and capital improvement fund. This statement reports the revenues, expenditures, other financing sources and uses, and then the change in fund balance during the fiscal year. So during the fiscal year, the county's general fund had total revenues of $32.1 million compared to expenditures of $29.3, which gave an excess of expenditures over revenues of $2.7 million. And then the county had transfers to the capital projects fund to fund capital projects of $9.9 million. And then we can see down towards the bottom, the net change in fund balance during the year. The county's general fund balance decreased by $7.1 million in the fiscal year. That sounds like a big decrease, but that's typical when you have you issue debt in the previous year, so that all those proceeds are received, so your fund balance goes up. And then the next year you're spending all those. So the big decrease in general fund balance is related to spending those bond proceeds for the on the various capital projects. The other statement I wanted to highlight, this is back on page 89. This is Exhibit 8. And this is the budget to actual schedule for the general fund. So you can see how the actual results compared to the budget numbers for the fiscal year. So for the general fund, total final budgeted numbers were $31.9 million compared to actual revenues of $32.1 million. So a positive variance there of $126,000. Total expenditures, budgeted expenditures of $32.7 million compared to actual expenditures of 29.3. So a positive variance there of 3.4 million. And then transfers out, again, money transferred out for capital projects, 11.9 million budgeted, and 9.9 million was the actual transfer. That's all I have for the financial report. Any questions before I move to the governance letter?
Anybody? Well, I guess, yeah, David, on our unassigned fund balance of 15 million is quite healthy, I think.
Mhm.
Do you know enough about our financial policies? I'm sure, I think we've got that in our financial policies as to what our target is on that, but do you know that or not?
I don't know the exact target number, what's in the county's policy. I do know just in general, GFOA and financial advisors always talk about, trying to hit at least 20 to 25% of actual general fund expenditures. And you guys are certainly above that target.
Did I see 51% in there somewhere?
Yeah,
51?
because you got 15, little over 15 million in unassigned fund balance, and total general fund expenditures are 29.3. So, by those standards, it's a very healthy fund balance.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody else? Please, Mr. Foley.
Thank you. So again, the other item we issue as part of the audit is our communication with those charged with governance. Basically, what this letter is, there's various things that we have to communicate to y'all at the end of an audit, and we do so in the form of this letter. Just briefly like to go through these with you all. Some qualitative aspect of accounting practices. Again, we communicate that management is responsible for the selection and appropriate use of accounting policies. Accounting estimates are an integral part of preparing the financial statements. For example, management's estimate of depreciable lives and for its capital assets, which is used to calculate depreciation expense. Also, management's estimate of the pension and OPEB liabilities, which that's based on actuarial valuations that the county receives. Difficulties encountered in performing the audit. We had no difficulties in dealing with management in performing the audit. If we had any, we would have to disclose those to you all. Really, management and all county and school board and Parks and Rec staff, they do an excellent job of working with us during the audit. They do an excellent job of having stuff ready for us when we show up on site, as well as they do an excellent job of answering the questions that we have, and do a good job of pulling any additional documents that we ask while we're there. We certainly know they have their own daily jobs that they're dealing with, and to have a bunch of auditors in and out of your office, I know can be challenging, but they do an excellent job of working with us and allowing us to get the audit done. So I'd like to commend the staff on that. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements. There were no uncorrected misstatements as part of the audit. So any audit adjustments that we had, they were provided to the county, and were posted to the county's financial system. So that way, the county's financial system, the records in there match and tie to the audited financial statements. Disagreements with management. Again, we had no disagreements with management. If we had any, we would have to disclose the nature of those to you all. Management representations. We do request certain representations from management at the end of the audit. We get that in the form of the signed rep letter. And then lastly, management's consultations with other independent accountants. As far as we're aware, management did not consult with any other independent accountants in terms of second opinion shopping. But again, these are just the required communications we have to make to you all at the end of the audit. But again, it was a a very, very clean audit for the county this year. And all the deadlines, all statutory deadlines are being made. The audit is being submitted to the state on time. And I believe this is about the earliest we've been here to present the audit. So overall, it's very good.
Aren't you normally here March and April?
So
Yeah,
there
there
have
you
been
go.
some years, yeah.
Anything else, Mr. Foley?
That's all I have.
Questions, comments?
I just have
Please.
a quick comment. One to Supervisor Yow's. I'm looking at the financial policies, and it looks like it's a publication of your budget each year as well. It's saying that the unassigned, I'm assuming is what you were speaking of, sir. The unassigned general fund balance at the close of each fiscal year should be equal to no less than 14% of the county's total general fund budget, including the school board's operating budget less transfers from the general fund. So 14% is your number. And it does give you policy also if you're above 18 on expenditures or monies that you could target for purposes of. I just want to second what David was saying. Kudos to all involved. That does not include me, but I know Alan worked on some things, finance department, many departments. I think it was a good team effort. I know Mary Earhart's not here, who's kind of Stephanie's right-hand person as well. But I think as a team, it worked very well. It was interesting. I say team because at the beginning of the week, I think we started with one. And when we got to Friday, we had, I think, four wonderful people from Robinson, Palmer, and Cox. But thank you, sir, for your staff, and I just appreciate the team effort. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything?
All I'll say is if you have more than a passing knowledge of the trials and tribulations of the county management this past year, you're happier than ever for a clean audit. And we've been taking it for granted for a while, but the fact that these guys pulled it off this year, I think we should be really happy and appreciative to everybody involved. So thank you.
Absolutely. I think the relationship that we have with Robinson, Farmer, Cox, the way they come in, I mean, it just seems to make everything. I always thought I'd think of auditors as a fun group.
We have our moments.
No, we appreciate it. I'm sure. I'm glad to hear the staff all work with you. That's what we need to be doing. Anybody else from David? Mr. Foley, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next December.
Yes, sir.
That's way
Yeah.
Oh. All right, constitutional officers, county departments, committees, and organizations. This is the first meeting, so we're going to work our way around. Mr. Webb, how we doing?
It's doing well. We have a very busy agenda, so January 5th, we'll hit the ground running. I'm not sure if we do new officers that night. I did last night for your planning commission.
They created a nomination committee, and I don't know when they report back if they're going to do it at their first meeting. We have a resident expert, Mr. Chairman, in the house tonight.
Who's going to stick with us for another 4 or 5, 6 years, right?
Maybe as just somebody who served.
When is it the end of the month, ma'am? Yes, ma'am.
So this will be the full. For that. That's actually good that you have that. Sure. To finish out these cases. So there's a lot I'm working with Powell, Mr. Dan, and some details. All of them drop up more. Just connecting out and then I'll everything ready. For those who are here, appreciate it. Pleasure working.
Pleasure working with both of y'all last 2.5 years. So yeah, it will be a busy agenda. Of course, tomorrow night, the Plan Commission will do their preview.
And potentially we're going to have some public hearings at the first meeting in January.
Oh, we have 7.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
With ordinance amendments and things like that. So, and of course, tomorrow will be the preview for the Plan Commission. So, if you can make it, great. If not, just maybe watch it online. Go back. So, anyway, all right. Well, thank you.
Any questions, Mr. Webb? Thank you.
Yeah.
Bobby?
Actually, I'm going to let Michelle go first, and then I'll kind of follow up so she can hit on a couple of areas.
Perfect.
We completed our audit. Just as everyone's just finished hearing. We've also closed fiscal year 21. All the, I guess, department heads or some constitutional officers have been given their new P cards that we have issued out from Bank of America. I've got like 90% of them out. I've got like 2 folks that are yet to pick those up. We're working with those, and the implementation still going on with that. And then we're also working on budgets with the department heads, getting ready to get those out to everyone so we can begin the budget process for fiscal year 23. And Bobby's helping a lot with that. So.
I just wanted to follow up after Michelle. As you heard the auditor speak, you guys should be really proud and very comfortable with this organization. As an outsider working here, I can tell you Madison County's in great financial health. They have a very, very good financial audit. And I know that Jonathan gave some kudos, but I just wanted to say that the financial team, great. The financial team has done very, very well in a hard situation. That was a spam call, by the way. And I know it's been hard for everyone, but everybody is a part of the audit. So don't think it's just Jonathan or just the finance department. It's each one of these department heads and everybody that's represented Madison in various capacities. All of you did a great job. And Cardi and I had a little talk, but to give you an idea, you guys saved a ton of money that you could have spent legally, meaning you had an appropriation, but you saved a lot of money. Revenues hit just about almost exact, but on the expenditure side, you guys saved about $3.5 million. The school system saved, I think it was 1.1 million. So when I say save, you could have legally spent that money according to the appropriation. So I think kudos goes out to everyone. I think the citizens of Madison County should be, extremely pleased with that audit. I'm going to add too that, yeah, we're working on the budget for FY23. And what we're going to try to do is streamline it just a hair. We're going to give you guys some information that will show FY21 actual expenditures, FY22 budget, FY22 actual to a certain date. And then, of course, salaries and fringes will be kind of blocked out, meaning we'll deal with that as a whole. Possible cost of living or whatever the board wants to do with salaries and fringes. And our idea is to get that out to you pretty soon if we can, so that you'll have time to work on it. And then when the new board members come in, I think Jonathan's planning on working with the new board to develop an agenda and et cetera for the budget process. The only other thing I'll add is that we're working in a lot of different areas, but the ERP is going strong. We had a little bit of a pause period on the Tyler part of the ERP, and hopefully we're going to be getting started back up. And we're planning, if all works out, we're planning to get back on track probably first to the middle of January. And I think by this pause period, we're probably going to be able to go faster than what we were, because we're going to have some things straightened out, know what we're doing, and we're really trying hard to make it a really good transition and piece of software that will last you guys for a long time. So that's all I have.
So for the board,
Any questions?
so Tyler's in pause, but Identity, which Brian and Stephanie use more than anybody else, will go still on target to go live towards the end of January, middle of January, Brian. So 1 out of 3 of the of the packages will go live in the middle of January.
You sure you don't want to go back to the breeze?
Hey, it's there for backup.
Well, good. Since we are talking, Bobby, that was very, very good. And thank you all for not spending all of the money with pallets of paper clips or whatnot. Y'all do the same thing every year. The schools do it, county staff. I mean, you can track historical data. We know this last year has been kind of an anomaly. But everybody, county department's been responsible all the time. There's nothing new, and it's not even that shocking. It's just what Madison County does, and it's something we should all be proud of. We do have ERP update later on down the list. It seems like we've gone down the ERP update path at this point. Do you have anything else to add so we can cross this off later?
I just want to give an opportunity. If I know Mr. Yao is the liaison for the board, so I put that on list just to give some update. It's been some time just to give you the status. So I don't, unless Mr. Yao is primarily to hit on some of the wonderful points of where we're at. Bruce has ordered some equipment, so that's came in. We're really pushing to meet the go live date in January for Avidity. Tyler will be after that. Laserfish, while it's important, is kind of the lower of the three priorities. So that's all I wanted to convey, unless Mr. Yao had something.
Yeah, well, the only thing I'd like for the board and the public to know that, so we've got a project manager, his name is Tom Char, and so what Jonathan and Tom Char set up last week was we had a group session in here with Tom, myself, and Jonathan, and then we had all the department heads and anybody that was involved in any aspect of Tyler or Avidity or Laserfish was in here. So we all got a chance, and I think it was well received, and it was also quite informative because some stuff popped up that, the left hand has always got to know what the right hand's doing, and a couple places we found out that wasn't the case, and I think they got ironed out. So I'm very pleased with where we headed on this stuff.
Any other comments? Brian, you got any comments on ERP?
Yeah, we're excited to get it up and running. And,
Very good. Anything else? All right, good. We can cross that one off. Thank you. No, it sounds good. Be proactive. That's the way to be. Lauren?
Hey. Our office is running really well. We've been spending a lot of time lately doing some record destruction and organization and still doing the registrations and address changes and all of that. There's a swearing in ceremony tomorrow at 1:00 at the courthouse for new board of supervisors and school board members. And we'll actually have some new members join the electoral board as of January 1st. So all that information will be coming a little bit later down the road. It's still waiting for approval from the judge. And that's about it. Going really well.
Very good. Questions for Lauren? All right, we're coming back to you in it shortly.
Okay.
Pass it to Nan. Nan, are you here from the Planning Commission?
Yes, I had so much fun last month. I came back again today.
We're excited to have you.
Oh, thank you.
How's the Planning Commission doing, Nan?
I think Ligon's covered it. We are finally, I think, going to have a public hearing the first Wednesday in January on large scale outdoor events. We've looked at that a lot. And so that's big. And then a couple of rezoning cases. So I think that's okay. Things are going good. They need to have 2 more members appointed in January to begin the February meeting, first Wednesday.
We are actually advertising. I believe we have at least 1 applicant at this time. So.
Very good. And Nan, when are we losing our great secretary?
January, whatever the third Wednesday, January 18th, I think. Yes.
Now, how long have you been the secretary of the Planning Commission?
Oh, I don't know, 7 or 8 years.
8 years. Yeah.
It's somebody else.
Right after Miss Breeden?
Yeah.
I think it was since the Pope was an altar boy.
Yeah, I started when I was young.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any questions on Planning Commission? Looks like it's going to be fun next month. Mooney?
Well, today we had a meeting with the contractor. I believe it was the engineer firm.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So we had a meeting with them about closing out the project up here with 414 and 410. I think the meeting went very well. We do have a couple issues that they need to take care of, and they said that they would take care of it. He didn't know why the contractor was acting so slow on the project, but he was going to try to speed it up. He's supposed to give us a date of when completion is, so we can get everything taken care of.
And at this point, we are holding back the last payment until completion.
We have roughly, I think, right at a little over $50,000. So we
Yes.
will not pay any more until we kind of get some resolution.
He suggested that as well.
Good.
So
We're in parallel. That's great. Any questions for Mooney? No muffler yet for the HVAC.
we have slowed it down.
Well, there you go. That's got to be something. Thank you, Mooney. Sheriff?
Pretty much what we're doing right now in our sheriff's office really doesn't compare to what's going on in Kentucky. I spoke with the sheriff in Grayson County yesterday, and pretty much what you're seeing on Fox News, whatever else, is pretty much unbelievable. So shout out to, I think it's Etland Church, and another group is gathering stuff up at the store here in Madison on Church Street. I think they're pulling out on Thursday. So I'm just saying, anybody has extra tarp, water, anything, everything you need, we have a list at our office. So just think about it. If you have time to stop by and pick up something, please send it to them. So besides that, we're holding on. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. All right. Barry, tell us about the school board.
Relatively uneventful meeting last night. I guess most significant thing in terms of for you all is that we passed a resolution asking you all to release the ESSER funds that we need for our 2022 budget, just standard operating procedure. Those ESSER funds, of course, are federal funds that come with some restrictions. They're supposed to be directed towards addressing learning losses that we've experienced because of being virtual. And we saw some data last night that shows that we have experienced those learning losses. I mean, it wasn't as drastic as it might have been, but we use a tiered approach. Tier 1 is what every student gets, and then if the assessment data shows, some learning need, they go into Tier 2, and if it's really severe, they go into Tier 3. And what we noticed last night, seeing data from Waverly L, I believe, was that there are more students in that Tier 2 and Tier 3 group. So these funds that we have available to us to help address that are really going to be significant. This round requires a public hearing, and so the first meeting in January, the 13th, will also be our public hearing on that. So if you have any great ideas about where we can throw some money to improve, to address those learning losses, we'd be the new board, I'm sure, will be happy to hear about it. We had a public comment last night, a very appropriate one, to be cautious, realizing that this federal money is not forever. It will disappear, and not put ourselves in a situation where we've got things we've got to continue to fund. And of course, we're very aware of that. And I know the things we've already done in terms of bringing on personnel. Some of those folk are in positions that are short-term positions, reflecting this realization that we're not going to have the resources forever to maintain all those positions. Also, last night we saw the schedule on how we'll be developing our budget. Again, typical, nothing unusual there. We are coming to the end of a long-range plan, so the new board will start a process for developing a new long-range plan. The other data we saw I thought was interesting. We saw data on student-teacher ratios at all of our schools, and I was interested in that because, like all school systems, we're struggling to find teachers and retain teachers. Quite frankly, I don't think that's going to get any better I mean, particularly to the degree that issues related to the pandemic continue, but also some other things. We have typically gotten a lot of teachers out of Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania is starting to use up all the many of the or more, a higher percentage of the teachers that they prepare, and there are counties in Virginia that have contracts with states like Pennsylvania that just guarantee any of their graduates a job, and that makes it difficult for small systems like ours to compete for those new teachers. But the good news is the data we saw last night is our student teacher ratios remain well within the guidelines. I think the highest one we saw was maybe 21 or 20 or 21, I think, students in a class. So I think that all looks pretty good.
Arthur spoke that he was at the VSBA conference
Yes.
previously. Is the VSBA taking any kind of initiatives to try to get teachers to some rural localities, or have at least acknowledged that it is a major issue?
I am not aware of anything right off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure. I guess I want to say I'm sure they are, but I can't tell you what it is. I mean, part of the problem with the VSBA, and it's not a huge issue, but it tends to be dominated by those large school systems, right? And so I know we have begun to participate in a coalition of rural school districts that I think are going to try to impact VSBA a little more on behalf of those small schools, but particularly related to teacher shortage and helping us recruit teachers. I can't say point to anything right off the top of my head that they're doing to help us with that.
No, but seeing rural localities work together to have a combined voice and try to vet some issues that are kind of pushed to the sidelines by your Fairfax and Loudoun and Prince William. That's great.
Well, give you an example of one of the things we do every year at the VSBA meeting, and as the chair, I represent us on this group. Every district has one rep, and we tell the VSBA what their legislative priorities should be. And there was a proposal out of Harrisonburg to change the way capital improvement funding was done. Evidently, the composite index does not apply to capital funding, and this new legislation was attempting to address that and to say, let's start applying the composite index to capital funds as well. And Loudoun County jumped in, their representative, and made an edit to that. And I think it all happened very fast. And a lot of us sitting there know why would they want that particular edit? And once I got away from there, the more I thought about it, it looked to me like it was designed to undermine whatever impact Harrisonburg's proposal might have had on helping the smaller districts. That's just the reality of lobbying and politics within an organization. But
questions for Barry? Mr. Green and Barry both spoke last night and spoke very well about their time on the school board. I think it's appropriate, at least from my side. We appreciate what you have done for Madison County, both you and Arthur. Y'all have shown great character, and you continually work for the Madison County students.
Thank you.
It's something everybody should take note of, but most will not. But
well, the last year has been stressful, and one of the things I said last night when I ran 8 years ago, I remember somebody saying to me, "I hope when you're on the board, all the votes won't be 5-0." Well, when you have a 5-0 vote, it usually means you're all thinking the same way, and the issue wasn't too tough, and what needs to be done is obvious. Well, this is the first year we've had some not 5-0 votes, and we have been divided on how to respond to the issues related to the pandemic, and that has not been fun, and it has not been fun. I was going to say you should thank us for drawing the public comment towards us and maybe away from you all. I think I could speak for the new board. We're going to be happy to pass that back to you in the future. So you all can have the fun during public comment that we've had over the past year.
We all remember you asking for public comment and never getting any. Now you get some.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
come on.
yeah.
No, thank you very much, and please pass it along to Mr. Green as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Truly appreciate it, Barry.
Thanks.
All right, Noah.
All right, good evening. November was busy, 131 calls, 11 minutes. We're continuing to assist Green, working to fill our open paramedic position. Had an offer, and unfortunately that was declined. So we're back to square one on that. Annual evals are all done, submitted. Gavin here is doing well with the added emergency coordinator duties. January 3rd, our work schedule will change to 3 shifts. This has all been vetted with Michelle and Jonathan budget-wise, but the goal is to improve efficiency, communication, and overall org health. We received ambulance 385 from Madison Rescue Squad. I was hoping to have it licensed in early January, but the lettering will be towards the end of the month. So we'll call it early February. I just got the training orientation from the fire department. Jake Sadler drafted that for support 7. So our staff's going to orient on that vehicle for vehicle extrications or times when the fire department are unable to respond. We think this is very unlikely, but it's more of a backup plan for that. The AEDs, we actually just got 10 in. Gavin will display what they look like. This is the one that'll live here. Thank you, Mooney. We'll hopefully get these installed within the next week or so. And Sheriff, 17 are coming.
One less.
Yeah, they're only 20,000 each. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, so we'll get those going. Our agency inspection went very well. That's to renew our operating license with the state. And during that inspection, randomly, the Board of Pharmacy showed up for a random inspection for narcotics, etc. And happy to report that went very well. So passed with flying colors.
Oh, all right.
Yep. Mental health program met with Cortico, working on the build out. The goal is the first of the year for the contract. I'm learning as I go. Thank you, Bruce, for helping me. We have to create an Apple development program. It takes time, so I do anticipate our go live date will be a little later than the first of the year, but not much on that. And that's all I got.
All right. Questions for Noah? You've gotten 11 of them, or you've gotten 10 AEDs. How many more do we have to go?
We have 17 more. Hopefully they'll be here soon, and they'll be deployed with the sheriff's office.
And the county ended up, what did we purchase? 11 of them of the
10, and
10.
then
All right, very good.
the remainder was the Culpeper Wellness Foundation.
Yes, sir. Well, that's great. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Support 7 is Noah and his team carrying out with the fire department in response to the MOU you all approved with the fire department. So we're very appreciative of it, and they're continuing the training effort. So thank you.
Good. Good. We had full confidence y'all were going to work together the right way. Gavin.
Yes, sir.
Emergency services.
Emergency
How's it
management.
going?
We hit the deck running. First of all, I want to say thank you. I appreciate the faith that y'all have put in me and our team. We've got a lot of work to do. John built a very good foundation, and we're going to take that and continue to build upon that. And Brian has graciously helped us as well, and is going to continue to help us. The report is very wordy. I'm not going to bore you with all that. You've got that in front of you. But basically, the plan is to meet with all of the stakeholders in the county. I've pretty much made contact with everybody. I talked to the sheriff via email earlier, or I guess at the end of last week. we're going to meet the first part of January. I talked to Troy last Friday as well. Met with Jamie in the building department. There's something called crisis track that we're going to try to work with VDEM on that to be up to speed in case we were to ever have a major event in the county. God forbid anything like what happened in Kentucky. That's the type of program we would want to make sure that we had available to us. Meeting with all of the, like I said, the stakeholders, all of the departments, to find out what their needs are and to find out how I can best serve them individually and come up with that plan. Behind the scenes, what we're working on is the EOP, getting that updated, making sure that everything is reflects where we're at today within the county. It's in pretty good shape. It just needs some refining. What I do also want to do is in the private sector side, meet with the people on the hazmat side, make sure that that reflects what they have and where the items are, and see if anything needs to be updated there. I've already been working with Greg Cave. He's made a suggestion for an addition to his annex on that, and those are the types of things that we're going to work on to really clean up the EOP. We're also updating the EAP for COVID response. There's just a few revisions there. That's going to happen pretty quickly. And once all those are done, then we're going to work on having standing incident action plans for all of the things that we know happen in our county all the time, whether it be any of the events that we know that happen at Graves Mountain, whether it be the Taste of the Mountain Festival, graduations at schools, football games, the county fair, having all of that pre-done so that we can pull it out of a file. Of course, it'll be digital, but pull it out of a file, adjust it as we need to, and we're ready to go so that if anything happens to our team or anyone else, it's there, it's done. And speaking of that, again, working on the COOP and updating that as well for the county. So there's a lot of irons in the fire. There's a lot of things to hit. And then working on some joint training operations as well with the sheriff's department, with the fire department, our agency, with EMS, and any of the other county agencies that might be involved. So got a lot of work ahead. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really good thing for our county, and we've got a good foundation to build on that was already there. And so that helps make our job easier. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Questions for Gavin? You don't fish, do you?
I could.
Oh, don't take that up. What is Annex 5?
Annex 5 is Greg's annex. That's the animal side of it. So we need to know what to do with our animals if there's an event. They can't come into the shelter. So,
all right.
So,
Good.
All right.
Any other questions? That's back to the commission back there. Thank you, Gavin.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Daniel,
Excuse
go ahead.
Let's see. We got the Divinity implementation going on, so of course we're excited about that. We'll be doing so January 18th will be the first go live date. Be doing lots of testing and this, that, and the other to make sure that's up and running correctly before we hit that date. Got a new employee coming in December 27th. So that's exciting for our office as well. New construction assessments are coming up. Wingate appraisal will do that. They'll be going around probably the week of the 27th or about then. I'll let Sheriff Weaver know what vehicle they'll be driving. It should have county assessor written on the side of it, but if anybody sees it or gets a call on that, that's what that's about.
Are they the ones we used the last time?
Correct.
That we actually got compliments about?
Yes. If you can get a
Worth
compliment.
noting, the ones before we had the opposite.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, Wingate's a top-notch company. They do a lot of localities, and we've had great success with them. So just wanted to put that out there that in case you do see them around, we're not doing a reassessment. They're just picking up the new construction that has happened over the course of the year. So,
Is that part of a service contract, or is that?
yes, it was part of the original reassessment that they did in 19. That we continue on. If we have had quite a few more building permits than usual, so I may be coming back and asking for a little bit more money when I get that bill, but it shouldn't be too bad. A couple thousand potentially. But other than that, we're going.
Questions for,
Yeah, I got one. So Brian, does the assessment go on construction in progress as well as newly constructed,
Correct.
occupied?
It may be we may assign 50% complete on it if you only got half your house built or half your deck built or whatever. We're going to pick up what's there January 1.
So if it was me and I was 50% complete on a new home, I would pay real estate taxes on that 50% of.
As of January 1. Yep.
there you go. All right. Thank you for the entertaining talk while you walked around. It's a new approach. Brian Gordon.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, I've got a couple things. Most of it's radio project. I'll lead with the best first. Equipment was not installed, but delivered to our radio shelters today. It's the first physical, I would say, progress I've seen in quite some time. So about half equipment is at Beautiful Run and Blakey Ridge. Ready to start building that up. The Hoover Ridge building permits should be being applied for shortly after Christmas. I spoke with Jamie this morning on that. Still construction, still set to be hopefully starting sometime early January, mid-late, I would say, is probably an optimistic target for that. The fiber run, which is the fiber link that we talked about on the amendment, that is actually under construction. I spoke with Jerry a few minutes ago. They've started that. They started trenching, doing the things they need to do to run the fiber from Fairgrounds Road to the tower site itself. And I can go into more on that. I can go into it now if you would like, on what that tower link is and why we're appropriating it off of the contract, just to kind of clear that up. And I have a sheet here, so bear with me.
Right.
The original rate.
Right, we're going to 10A real quick.
Okay.
10A.
Okay.
Good. All right, let's go. Yeah.
The original radio project had a 80-foot monopole going in the back lot of the sheriff's office. Due to a lot of reasons, money being the biggest one, we didn't feel like that was a really good idea. Where are you going to put a monopole? And our ordinances say if it's on a piece of property, it has to fall on the same property it's on. It was going to be impossible to accomplish without a bunch of variances. So we decided to look at other routes, and we came up upon this fiber route. By deleting the monopole, we saved $367,174 $174.43 by doing away with that tower. The fiber run itself is $113,006.25, giving us a net of $254,168.18. So we saved a bunch of money by doing it this way, and we're not left with seeing a big monopole in downtown Madison. So that works well. It does have some downside to it. It is exposed going up Main Street on the poles, this, that, and the other. But we have built-in redundancy in the radio system itself. If a dump truck does hit the pole, line goes down, we're still going to be able to communicate. Not full functionality, but we will still have the ability to communicate. And it's being buried on Hoover Ridge, avoiding projects that Jerry and his crew are working on now. So that's the backstory behind that. Any questions before I move along, as far as that goes?
Oh no, we have a supplemental in front of us,
and
it's for 226.20. Please.
I don't think it
should be 113.
Yeah, it's 113, but the amount that the board votes on is 226. It is 113, but the total amount based on the debit and the credit is that. I mean,
yes. Can Mr. Fry, can you please, Michelle, speak to it?
It definitely is 226.
So that particular budget adjustment requires two sets of entries. So we're showing both sets.
That's right.
Transfer, and one is the actual appropriation.
That's
so 113,000 is what you will be adding to your appropriation for the radio project.
That's right. Thank you. Correct. Yep. We're all there. We're all
okay.
There. What do y'all want to do here? It is supplemental. What's the number on this one? It's supplemental appropriation number 4. Doesn't seem right, but there you go. Dash 12, 14, 2021. 5. All right, it's 5. What would y'all like to do? Questions, comments, thoughts? Mr. Weekly, anything to add?
No, sir.
There you go. What would y'all like to do?
I move to approve supplemental appropriation number 5.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mr. Gordon, what else you got?
The Blakey Ridge permit should be coming in shortly with the Hoover Ridge, if not at the same time. That's a very, very small construction job up there. Our shelter is already in place. The only thing Motorola is going to be constructing is an ice bridge between our current shelter and the REC tower. It's roughly 80 feet, but the building permit should be coming in with the Hoover Ridge permit when we do that. They're going to try to coincide the construction so that both of them are going at the same time. Theoretically, we should have both those towers, and Beautiful Run is already ready to go. So those 3 sites should be ready to go optimistically March. This is what they're telling me. Now, that's, of course, counting January, February, we don't get dumped on with snow and all that good stuff. Construction sites, been decent weather up till now, but who knows what will happen as soon as we put a shovel in the ground. So, Hughes River, we had planned on getting in front of the Planning Commission on the 14th. I'm hearing now there's a lot going on there, so I'll get with Ligon. If we need to push that back, then we can do so. And that we can do whatever. It just pushes the construction back on that site. Both leases are finalized on the Hughes River site, working now on the deed of easement. I hope to have that done pretty quickly as well. So we're just running into some signature issues on that. So Next Generation 911, I reported last month that our biggest issue was with a firewall. Well, the firewall was not in agreement with our current version of 911 that we upgraded to last year. We upgraded to version 6.3. We found out that that was not compatible with what AT&T was putting up with the next gen. So I fought back. Motorola and Centurylink or Lumen are actually going to pay for the upgrade this time. That upgrade should be in January 16th or 17th. It's just a software upgrade is all it is. So they'll get that done. Then we're set to go live middle of April with next gen. So we should be in good shape there.
All right.
And just
There's more.
yeah, oh yeah. I could talk half the night, but I'm holding it back a little bit. Assistance to Firefighters grant is done. I will be submitting that by the end of the day on Friday. Again, that is for roughly $600,000 for Madison's portion, roughly $600,000 for Green's portion, and that's for fire and EMS radios. And the last thing I had last month, we did a total call volume of 4,034 and 1,264 calls for service total through the center.
I kind of think we should get you to start fishing. That is quite the list. The assistance to the fire grant, that's the one that we were previously denied, but just going through the process again.
Correct. I had a meeting with FEMA and Motorola to discuss why we were denied. The biggest thing was our call volume, and we can't fix that. And the other thing was the age of our radios. We can't fix that. So what we did is we went back and looked at the major events we've had over the last 3-4 years. The biggest being 2018 flooding. Of course, we had the missing person. We had a propane tank rupture and multiple flooding between, especially on the Green and Madison line. So we really, really did a lot in the narrative to push that. We also brought up the Shenandoah National Park and what happened last year in the pandemic with that being flooded. And of course, we've always tried to talk about what happens in DC if something happens up there. Where is everybody going? Well, they're coming here. They're coming down 29. So we've tried to hammer some of those things home in hopes that it outweighs our call volume and our age of our radios with potential.
Very good. Questions for Brian? It's a good list. Thank you. Jared.
Well, we had our S'mores of Santa event last night, and it was a huge success. That light show. We had over 100 people attend. We had kids and parents out there dancing around. It was really cool about a campfire, and so I encourage everyone to go by there and see it. It's going to be on every night after New Year's. Turn the radio channel on to 88.7. Tell your friends, everybody come by. The light show will last about an hour and a half, and it goes on from 5 to 10. It keeps repeating itself. Also, we're thinking out for our sponsors. for the light show and S'mores of Santa, Center Fit Farm, and Nest Realty. Thank y'all very much for your donations for that. We are also working on a 2022 event calendar. So far, we have the April 23rd and 24th, the Wool and Wine Festival with the sheepdog trials. We've nailed that down, so we're working on some more stuff too. We'll have that out in the next couple weeks.
And we're the largest sheepdog trials on the East Coast or something.
We're the largest one in the state of Virginia. We have people come from California to Canada, Florida, all over the country. Believe it or not.
Amazing.
It's
All right.
crazy.
Yes, it is. All right. Questions for Jared? Mr. Cave.
Good evening.
Yep.
So, shelter animal control, staying busy. Just gearing up, working on trying to get the numbers and everything together for the yearly report so we can submit that to VDAX. Deadline this Thursday for the vacant shelter manager position. So counting that down. So hopefully when that's filled, we can start on training someone again. So, other than that, staying busy.
All right. Questions for Mr. Cave? Are you subbing in right now? Is same deal? There you go. We knew you liked it.
Very appreciative.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Tracy.
Okay.
Brian gave you a run for their money. Come on now.
I know, right? So I guess my first page of my report's last week now, all about awaiting the VATI grant. We were at the governor's announcement yesterday where he's deploying $2 billion. Very big news, and we've already gotten a response from Galen about what we can expect. He will have updates and contracts with the county, the partners, Thomas Jefferson Partnership, Planning Commission, and VATI. He will send updates on the specific final project areas in the county because we did have challenges. They had challenges from Comcast, Chantel, and Centurylink. The only one that was valid, he said, was Centurylink. And so in that regard, Dr. Holmes from the Department of Housing and Community Development had already said that usually takes to nail that down 3 to 6 months after the VATI awards are announced to give time for the VATI applicant and the RDOF awardee, Centurylink in this case, to discuss and execute the MOU. But it was a great day. It was a good time to be there, and appreciated Mr. Reekley and Mr. Mcgee going as well, even though Chuck didn't see us.
And
We saw
hey, how
him.
about Senator Kane recognizing 2 Madison areas?
So I shared that on Facebook. Senator Kane, when he got up, and regardless of politics, when you're in the room and you have the current governor, 2 current senators who are both former governors in the same room, you know it's a big deal. It's a big event. Senator Kane, first thing out of his mouth, he said years ago after he hiked Old Rag in Madison County, just like that, then had dinner at Bavarian Chef. One of the waiters, which was Tomas Fernandez, actually complained about internet, and he never forgot it. So I let Tomas know, and he was very pleased and excited that he was mentioned. And then went to speak with him afterwards, and Senator Kane said, yeah, be sure to give him credit for that. So it was a good deal.
Where, with the challenge on CenturyLink being over towards the Greene County side, where does that leave us with the award that Chantel got in the Etland area?
That's the thing. We've got to narrow that down. And yeah, go ahead.
So I was just checking emails here, Tracy. I love these. They're almost like spam, like your phone call. I get emails, Bobby. But no, I've been in contact with a Chris Kyle. So we're going to hop on a call tomorrow to find out that portion. So Thomas Jefferson Planning District will continue to do the hand holding, if you will, to get us through the CenturyLink. It's amazing they're now there because there was some monies years ago, but so they will walk through what an MOU will look like. To me, it should be the same time, same dollar, same upload, download. It's what I think everyone should be gearing for. The Chantel portion, which is more that Etland area of the county, which is important in all areas of the county, we're going to nail that down, because what I would like to see for us is to go on our website an actual broadband project. So it's not just about Firefly. We're very thankful that's going to be the big portion, but what are those other components? So we haven't nailed down Chantel yet. I'll have an update after this call. Tracy and I definitely keep our board liaison who's trying to exit on us. informed as well. And then maybe even have them come to the meeting, because I can't tell you the last time I've heard from Chantel. That's not negative. I'm just saying if they want to serve an area, I want to know how they're going to serve it. So we're teeing that up, but Centurylink will be continue. As you can see, there will be some form of MOU that will spell out that relationship and timeline and so forth.
But both of y'all expect some type of MOU with Chantel as well?
I do not. I can't commit to that at this time. We haven't had that discussion. I would imagine similarly so. I don't know what their relationship will be, kind of like when CVEC, I think I pronounced that right, is here and where they carry it on. I would imagine there would have to be a handoff, but I don't have that determination yet, sir.
Any comment down there?
But Kevin, doesn't the RDOF monies have a time frame?
It does. It's a longer window than, and what we're forcing with this. So at least the CenturyLink stuff is going to have to happen faster.
Yeah, the 3 years
Um,
versus 10 years or
And
something.
so what I hope we're going to do is make sure that we're plugged in enough to the, whenever the Chantel agreement is, that we can apply that same pressure and speed up to the same time frame. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but obviously Jonathan and Tracy are on top of that.
All right. Chuck?
Open Rappahannock, all points went into Central territory, they also got the challenge. If the challenge passes, and if the state says yes, and it's Central, they have to have it done within 2 years.
Chantel, that didn't apply to ours. That was only Centurylink for ours. They didn't contest any of Firefly's. So, well, I don't know. And so our residents have concerns, rightly so, that some people may be getting better service than others. And I'm lucky to have Comcast, but I'm told Firefly is much better than Comcast. So I think we're all going to kind of be in that boat, but it's still a huge feat nonetheless.
So the three criteria: same construction deadline by the end of 2024, same upload, download speeds, and no more money. We have ARPA funds, but if you want to hop on board, this is the pot. And that's kind of my strategy, unless you tell me otherwise. So that's the three criteria that I'm looking to discuss tomorrow.
All right, since we've gone down that path, does anybody have any questions on this? And we'll go back to Tracy.
Yeah, one more thing is the fact that Chantel did not challenge Firefly because Firefly wasn't looking to come up there to begin with.
Yeah, they're going to try to go into Chantel's turf. They just kept telling us, good company, they're going to do it.
All right.
Hope so.
Yeah, Firefly was comfortable with them. So.
All right, there you go. Please proceed, Tracy.
Other thing is and also for the parade went great. Thanks to Mooney and his staff. Thanks for the sheriff's department helping. Thanks for the fire department helping with lineup as always. It was great. The Mary Madison thing, we had hundreds of entries on that. So that's definitely going to become a tradition. And the biggest thing, we had people coming from Northern Virginia. We did have people from Charlottesville. But the biggest thing to me living here is that local people went to shop at places they've never been before in their own county. So they literally were helping their neighbor and helping their own economy. So that was a great thing to see and to hear. I'm also working on my tourism ARPA funds, the $40,000 plan. I hope to have that done by this week so that I can get it submitted and so that we can get half of that money come January. Biggest things. And yeah, we'll be working on the events for next year as well. Hopefully back to normal for next year. Attended seminars for the economic development, seminars for the state. Our website views were down like they normally are in November after fall foliage month. Still some free websites are available at that Jumpstart program with the Central Virginia Partnership, working on other budgets, still waiting on the state and VDACs from the Revelation Performance Agreement, and still waiting to give the final, let you know about a couple other projects we have in the works that we're not allowed to say anything about yet.
All right, questions for Tracy? Thank you, Tracy.
And I also wanted to say thank you to Mr. Mcgee and Ms. Foster, and really appreciate all of your efforts and your time, being approachable, and you guys have, as a board, had great synergy. Pleasure working for you.
All right. Thank you, Tracy.
I had been working on not being approachable, so I'm disappointed.
Livingston thinks he got off. Livingston, I actually just waited so you put the microphone back. But well, what have you been doing, Livingston?
That makes sense too. Pretty much supporting all these different folks and their big endeavors that's going on. Getting to be a part of that. I mean, I got a little bit of everybody here. Brian and Greg and Noah. So I work with them all pretty tight. Other than that, we're having backup problems on the new RDA clone. I worked on that all day today. And getting new laptops ready for the 2 new board members. I'm not going to give them those laptops. We should probably look into replacing Miss Charlotte's also, because those things are running like dogs.
I ain't keeping it.
Yeah, you could buy it from us. VPN's going to go into the CID building on Thursday and the firehouse. So that takes 2 more of the radio transmitters out of the picture. That leaves us with 1.
Are we taking down these radios, or are we leaving them up just like everybody else does?
No, we're going to eventually take them down because they're charging us to have them on the poles.
Right.
So we're going to get those taken down. But then we have just this building right here is the last one then with the radio on it. So I didn't have time to tell you that, Sheriff, but CID is coming on VPN Thursday.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Is that maybe sensitive for us? Is a contractor going down there, or are you working with them? Because that's a sensitive area. You just with the sheriff.
I work with them pretty much. I'll be down there with them when they go in there. But I already cleared it, I talked to Sarah, and she said that folks were going to be there at 9 o'clock, so shouldn't have been a problem. Same thing with Brian. He's going to get us in to the firehouse. So yeah, they're expecting us. It shouldn't take long, 40 minutes per place, maybe. Like I said, the ERP thing, the Avidity and all that, there's a whole bunch of peripheral devices we've got to get tested and ready between the middle of January. I mean, check scanners, credit card scanners, printers, barcode readers, scanners, a bunch of stuff that's got to all be ready by the time they get here next month. Other than my backup problems and just working on daily tickets as they roll in, that's pretty much it.
Anybody got any questions for Livingston? Thank you, Livingston.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Very good. I don't think I missed anything.
And like next month, I think we're keyed up for the additional microphones, correct?
Yes, I'm just waiting on cables.
Well, are they? Those aren't located in the Pacific Ocean somewhere.
No, they're actually in my office.
Oh, well, good. We're
Looking good.
All right. All right. Miss Murray's with us on the go to meeting. Miss Murray, what's going on?
Hello.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm a little tied up, but we're working hard on Avidity, taking care of some loose ends before we go live, and I just finished with that. So we had a successful collection season. We just mailed out the delinquent notices today. I feel like a Scrooge every time I have to mail them before Christmas, but it's just with the timing, we need to do that. But things are moving along, as I said, with Avidity. Greg from Avidity will be down next week to work with my office. And then he will be back. It will be all hands on deck training before go live, January 10th through 13th. So that's what's going on in our office. My report was delayed for November, but you should have that by the next meeting.
Very good. Questions for Miss Murray? Thank you, Miss Murray.
Thank you.
Last, Alan, you were advertising for Planning Commission. What else?
You have BZA.
Nope, looks like we need to advertise that one.
Yeah. So it's Planning Commission, I know we received one applicant.
All right. What about community service.
Community Service Board is one we advertised.
All right, so in BZA, Mr. Ayla looks like he's not gonna come back. Yeah, that's right. Probably need to advertise that one too. Microphone. He needs it.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was gonna
We have heard.
Yell at me, Sean. I don't think.
That's your raise, that's great. 2 words. Thank you.
Can we go ahead and, I guess we need to advertise for BZA.
We can certainly do that, sir.
All right.
Community service board is going to be really hard to have citizens attend. It's 2 meetings a month, 3 hours each meeting. Plus there's a third meeting if you get picked for that one. So using someone from the county like we did with Valerie, I think is going to be, because one of the board members will be on there, right? One of the new board members or whoever picks it up.
Looks like it's gonna be real fun, Dustin. Come on. How much more fun?
But with what they're doing for the county, it's super important who we have on there. It's not just you show up
You got
and,
Marcus Alert, there's a new.
Oh, yeah.
I would say administrative, there's a new person in the county for that purpose.
yeah, it affects the sheriff's office, Commonwealth attorney, social services. So it's important.
Community service, we gotta be real selective like we are on everything else. But tell all your friends to apply for planning, BZA, and community service maybe. There you go. CPMT, poll.
You don't have a request, Ms. Ward, you all approved the last request you brought forward, I think about a month or 2.
That's great. Good. We were very successful at that one too. All right, moving on. We do have 2 public hearings. We have one public hearing on the employee bonus ordinance. The advertisement states employee bonuses shall not be paid in Madison County except for unique circumstances of exceptional service and only upon the approval of the Board of Supervisors in an open meeting. Mr. Gregg, fill us in some more.
I can walk.
Look good, sir. It's all right.
I can't believe how much his hair is growing.
Oh, that's right. The doctor's over here. Very briefly, in terms of why we suggest this ordinance, Virginia Code Section 15.2-1508 requires that we have a county ordinance if we are going to pay any bonuses to employees. Apparently, this is something that has been overlooked for some time. We're just bringing ourselves into compliance. I understand we may have an application of that a little later today. The ordinance as suggested, it is a public hearing. It is all being done in public. So it's not as though this board can secretly propose bonuses for itself or for various employees. I believe that the ordinance makes sense. It makes government a little bit easier. It does provide the board some discretion when we have emergency situations or, when people have, gone above and beyond the call of duty. It gives us a way not to bury it, as I indicated. It's just a way to bring it to the board's attention so that these can be paid. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gregg. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Gregg or Mr. Weekly? It would seem that we've done bonuses for Sheriff's Department, dispatch. I think, didn't we do EMS as well at one point? No, did we? I don't know. Which way are you shaking your head? Up or down, or maybe?
I remember the
There you go. This is very rare that Madison County gives out bonuses. Any board member have anything they'd like to say about the bonuses or the public hearing for the bonuses?
Does it have a number? Does this ordinance have a? All right.
Alan,
That's fine.
figure out some kind of number for us or something?
I assume this will go in Muni code, right, Sean?
It would, yes. Absolutely.
Do you have more to share about this, Mr. Gregg?
I do not.
All right, stay there. All right, public hearing is open. Does the public have any comment on this specific ordinance that yet does not have a number? Any public comment? They've flown in on the cyber there?
No, they're not.
Well, there you go.
No comment.
All right, public hearing is closed. What would the board like to do on this bonus ordinance? And Alan's going to give us a number. Alan? There you go. Thank you, Alan. 2021-11.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the ordinance concerning the employee bonus. It says 2021-11.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Mr. Gregg, tell us about the second public hearing about, and this will be ordinance 2022 dash, let's, dash OA dash 01 dash 22 dash 4. Mr. Gregg?
Mr. Chairman, very briefly, all this does is amends our ordinance 19-3-2 that is in Appendix A of the zoning ordinance. The issue we have is that people kind of scoff at how light the penalties are currently. Currently, for a zoning violation or, well, actually any kind of violation, the fine is $100 for a first offense and then $250 for each additional violation. We found several years ago, people just don't take $100 very seriously anymore. It's one of the problems with inflation. So what this ordinance does is it changes a first offense to $250 and changes a second or subsequent offense to $750. Now, we did leave the maximum cap at $5,000. And the reason for that is because we have never persisted, with charging people for multiple violations. We have some other opportunities available to us. Specifically, we can go through the circuit court to get injunctive relief for, a landowner who is in violation of one of these. And again, it's just adjusting this ordinance for inflation.
Very good. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Gregg or Mr. Weekly? The public hearing is open. Does the public have any comment? I see you smiling back there, Brian Daniels. Do you have a comment on this? No? That's unfortunate. Livingston, how are we doing on the cyber?
No comment, sir.
Still no comment. All right. The public hearing is closed. We have ordinance 2022-OA-01-22-4. What do y'all want to do with it?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve ordinance 22-OA-01-22-4.
I'll second that.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Very good. All public hearings taken care of. Mr. Weekly, tell us about the UDA update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me go down to that in the packet. 1 second. I don't see that in the packet. Okay. Basically, where we're at as far as an update, in speaking with VDOT, yes, if the town is to be designated an urban development area, it would mean a comp plan amendment. The particular funding, and it should be in there, I believe you should have a board report in there. I put some VDOT information in there so you could see some of the, okay, we'll search for it here in a minute, but I put some VDOT information there that shows the links where this could be applicable, because I know they talked about sidewalks. I know urban development's beyond that. And that application process is actually from August through October. However, I'm going to recommend to the board, if you're going to do this as a comp plan amendment, which would be required, that you take this up during your comp plan review The purpose being that you're required every 5 years to review that. It was last approved in February of 2018. So that's coming up very quickly, your 5-year point, something some of our newly members you're bowing out on, Ms. Coppich, but that is required. So it just makes sense if you're going to consider the town. But quite frankly, sir, or members of the board, I think there was some interest or maybe discussion, is there portions relevant in the county you may want to look at for consideration of that. So all that to me seems like do it during the process, which would be your comp plan review, which is my recommendation to the board.
And that comp plan review has to be finished by,
I just used the date of when the last plan was approved. So you would definitely need to renew it unless Mr. Gregg has any comment. It is every 5 years. So I just used the date of the last approval. Then there's a recommendation considered below, which in general, if you're doing this, it's basically by board action directing the planning commission to take this up.
it looks like we need to ask the planning commission to look at UDAs and what they see as a direction on implementation of potentially not just the town. And then once they're studying that, then we start adding it to the comp plan with the addition of the town and any other areas that they think is fit for the board's consideration.
Yes, sir.
Does that work for everybody? What questions, comments, thoughts? I did think that just the interesting side of this is how long the application period was.
Mm-hmm.
We never see real big broad spans like that. Is that what we want to do? Instruct the planning commission?
Yep.
There you go.
Got that now?
Well, would that be the town's planning commission or?
They've already done it.
It turns out their comp plan actually has that. So now the request is in the Board of Supervisors court. And from staff, this is what we gathered, that if we're going to designate it, it needs to be in our comp plan. But do it during the normal review process.
It adds strength to the application if it's both in the town and county's comp plan. We initially thought that just a resolution passed by the board would be sufficient, but it looks like it's even more powerful if it's in the comp plan. And UDA should absolutely be used for more than just sidewalks. It seems like we're missing the major purpose of a UDA, but let's start there and then we'll go in a better direction.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that since the other night. So, a very simplified UDA looks like approach from the county side would be go from Waverly Ave to the stoplight back on 29, and then go from the Madison Learning Center to the where you go down out of town as a designated area. Just if we need to do a quick down and dirty to help the town. I don't know, but that's.
Well, yeah. What was the time for that application?
So the application comes up for VDOT between August and October. So you would be, I would imagine, as a planning, not you, the planning commission would be well underway, I would imagine, of doing a lot of the comp plan review.
What it actually looks like is that you say it like this, but we're a couple years out from really applying for these funds, since the comp plan has to be passed by February 2023, and then that cycle would be when they would want to apply. I mean, if we amend the comp plan as part of the normal 5-year rotation, then that's just when the timing works out. We just saw how large-scale event ordinance had more issues than what we initially thought of when we went down this path. Took a little bit longer. It's going to be better when we're done. But if the planning commission dives into the comp plan, of course they're going to do the hard work, and there'll be more issues, and do it all at one time, be done with the damn thing. Make sense?
Yep.
All right, let's keep going. All right.
So is that,
Ah,
so is that,
Yeah.
board action to,
yeah, we've got a head nod. Y'all want to vote on instructing the planning commission to work on the UDA update?
I just want to call, I don't mean to be petty. Sean, as the parliamentarian, they need to take a vote to direct the planning commission for this purpose, sir.
Why not? Let's do that. What do
Thank
y'all want to do here?
Yeah, I move that the planning commission take up the task of defining the UDA and incorporating it into the county comprehensive plan at the next 5-year cycle.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion?
Is it just one? I mean, yes, I get the one that would be connected to.
No, it's not just one. It could be different areas. I mean, we just, didn't we just?
Oh, I said define a UDA.
You did.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Well, I think I can
Define
expand.
UDA areas is what I guess I should have said.
You amend your
Amend it
motion
to say define the UDA areas.
as a plural. And you go with the
I'm good
second.
with it.
That's-
Thank you, Kevin.
That's
Thanks.
very good. All right. Further discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Lauren, tell us about the redistricting.
So I just have a really brief update on redistricting for you guys. Recently, the Virginia Supreme Court hired a few folks as a committee to draw some maps. They can all be seen at the links there, or there you go. It looks like for Madison, luckily, we don't have any splits that are running through the county, so everything's going to kind of remain the same for us as long as these maps are approved. Everything is going to change numbers. So in the congressional district, we're going to go from the 5th that we're currently in to the 10th. The House of Delegates, we're going to go from our current 30th district to the 62nd, and the Senate district will go from the 24th that we're currently in to the 28th. They are taking public comment tomorrow and Friday on this, and then written comment through the 20th, I believe. If anyone has any problems or anything, you do have to go through the process, and all the information can be found at these links or through the redistricting committee. So if there's anything that anyone has any concerns with or wants to see further, you can visit all of that. It shouldn't, luckily, change anything for us other than the localities that are in these districts with us. So not big changes. We are waiting on this to, once everything's finished and approved, then I'll just bring it to you guys for approval, basically, since there's not going to be any changes that we have to make. And then as a county, if we decide to do anything with polling places or anything like that, it would come after this step.
Are they actually going to pass this?
I don't know. Yeah, it's everything I've read actually has more positive feedback than anything else thus far. So I would say yes, probably, but if not, then it's a longer process. The article that we were actually sent today was telling us how it's only 189 days until the next election. So we have to get this done, get it approved, and move forward for everything before they can either plan a new election to reset people for the new areas or get anything done for the primary. So it's definitely closing in on a time frame that is making everything that comes after this going to have to move faster.
I doubt they're going to pass it.
I stopped following this when the committees were walking out on each other and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
So last I read, the Supreme Court had picked just a few folks who did this. Supposedly, it's favoring the Democratic Party a tiny bit more, but the Republican Party seems to be okay with the lines that they've drawn. So since we're not getting huge feedback from both parties, it seems that they may be able to come to an agreement on it, but you know how that goes.
So our involvement is a rubber stamp
No,
at the end of the day.
yeah, unless you're gonna make public comment.
Right. So if there was a split running through Madison, then it would affect us a lot more than our locality staying within these districts as a whole, like we are, because then we would have to have different ballot styles and probably either split precincts based off of that, or elections would be a lot more complicated with people, you know, in Brightwood voting for one candidate and people in Rochelle voting for a separate candidate type situation. So without any of that, then it shouldn't be much that you all have to face other than giving final approval at the end.
Well, I guess that's what I was trying to say.
Right.
Was what decisions will we have to make on this?
Mm-hmm.
Zero.
Much of zero.
Basically.
Yes, or.
Especially because if a citizen has a problem with it, you all aren't involved and it's not really, you know, anything that you guys can do. So they would need to follow the process and submit everything online and go to the public hearings that don't affect us here.
This is one of those mandates.
Yes. So I don't have to worry about this. You'll worry about this for me.
I can, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
I can keep you up to date.
Okay.
All right. People got questions? Any more questions for Lauren?
I think Carter's going to hear about it anyway.
Yeah.
I know some of his family.
Yes, I am.
Lauren, thank you.
Perfect.
Mr. Wakely, Finance Director interview panel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the public. There is nothing in your packet officially on this. As you recall, the board approved a recruiting effort for the vacant finance position. Like many things, whether you heard from Mr. Penholler with the shortage of teachers, shortages at EMS, dispatch, the list goes on. It's a very serious matter. So we wanted to go beyond the traditional. So Fahrenheit has started the process, vetted some folks. We have at least 4, maybe 5 potential candidates. Candidates in the finance world move very, very quickly. So the thought was to poll the board to see if there was at least a couple members that would like to be part of the interview panel along with staff. And then this would allow a continuum cycle of interviewing as long as necessary versus trying to bring a department head to the whole board. I'm sure we'll get through a second or third round and some finalists will be brought to the whole board, but to keep people engaged and start going through the interviewing before they get gobbled up by some other locality or private sector, this is a mechanism that would allow some good feedback. You have traditionally done member panel, if you will, in the past. So I think there's been some precedent and will allow us to keep moving forward to actually get started with the process so we can hopefully fill this critical position for the county. So just looking for a couple members that may want to serve in that capacity, and we would start pushing dates and sharing dates of availability to nail down interviews.
Looks like the obvious choices, Mr. Yao and Ms. Hoffman. If you're willing to sit on that one. That'll work for everybody.
All right. Thank you for that. So we'll be getting some availability information from you this week and setting up that panel. So thank you very much for that.
Any other questions for Jonathan on this one? All right, very good. All right, we already did the ERP update. Let's do the sheriff. Is there anything else on the ERP update?
No, sir. We've covered that. Yes, sir.
All right, sheriff's office supplemental for $33,480. Mr. Weekly.
So basically, you know, sometimes you have goods and services, right? So and certainly the sheriff can add to if you like. They have certain cameras, whether it's body cameras, dash cameras, but there's a need for as record retention for storage for that. So make sure I had the name correctly. Axon Enterprises Incorporated provides that storage. And we just need to be able to approve the supplemental to have the funding available. I believe, Mr. Fry, yes, you're here with us. This moving it as a use of contingency funds? I want to clarify that.
Yeah, so we're moving, basically, you have already made an appropriation in the original adopted FY 22 budget and been recorded as a contingency all we're doing really is moving from one expenditure account to another. We're not using fund balance.
And this will be appropriation number 4. Mr. Weaver, you have anything else to add to this one? Sharon, you got anything to add?
This occurred back when we had our former 2 employees are no longer here. We thought this was made, this agreement was done. I guess it was not done, so that's why you're having to do that this time. Is that good enough?
That seems fairly reasonable.
Yeah, this appropriation was in FY 21.
Right.
So the appropriation normally upon a rollover of the prior year budget, if the commitment had been made, which this one had, it would have been rolled over automatically. So we're just kind of catching up here, if we will, to, but we need the board approval to have the proper amount of money in the sheriff's account for this appropriation.
And also the use of contingency. You have to approve every bit of that. So.
What do y'all want to do here?
So I got one more question for the sheriff. So this is an ongoing expense related to the body cams and the car cams, right? So this will be in your budget this year. We'll see that in there. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve a supplemental appropriation 04 for $33,480.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Back to you, Mr. Wakely, employee bonus.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Barrett.
Bring up the board report. I think it's item 11. As soon as he brings that up. Basically, the board, as it just held earlier, a public hearing for the purpose of employee bonus. A bonus says, so they now have that ordinance that would allow, I've worded this to give you the room to add, Mr. Chairman and the members of the board as see fit. I believe there's some recognition of what I would say now a former employee for going above and beyond. And this recommended action would try to capture that. You would have to basically state the employee that or the person that you're looking to give the bonus amount and the amount of that bonus. So I try to word that as leaving you to fill in the blank, if you will.
All right, questions, thoughts, comments? How would y'all like to proceed here?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think the employee in question is Roger Berry, correct?
That's correct.
He was pulling double duty for quite some time. Basically, he was the clerk of the works on this effort right here, which is this and 410 and 414 together was a $1.1 million effort, and basically Roger took it on. We never asked him to do that. It's just like he was standing there. So I think what he did was above and beyond his pay grade. So I would move that we give him a $5,000 bonus for doing this. If I just threw that number out there, I know that's up for discussion, I would say.
No.
That's my motion.
There you go. That's what I'm looking
I second.
for. There you go. Motion made and seconded. Now we can discuss. I can't make a motion or anything, but Roger Berry did go above and beyond multiple times. We had our Christmas luncheon last Friday. That was well attended, and I think Miss Fry spoke for pretty much everybody. Is how much Roger and she also spoke about Miss Struthers, how much they had done for Madison County. Roger came out. The one that I guess hopefully we've fixed at this point is the court doors. 5 o'clock in the morning, snow day, Roger's out there shutting and locking the court doors once it's closed. He's the only one. Roger did things that most people will never ever know about in Madison County. And it's kind of the stuff that kept the world turning and let us operate and continue. It was always done in its constantly positive way that we all are familiar with about Roger. Roger did a lot of stuff for us. That's the way. That's exactly. That's the way. I think it's well warranted in this case. The other one that's worth noting, we've been through during my time on the board multiple editions of pay raises, multiple for county staff. Somehow Roger kept getting looked over. He didn't make a big deal about it, and that's just Roger.
He didn't, but he would speak up on others' behalf.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, 10A, we did, yeah, we had Brian, or we did 10A, we just did, yeah, the ECC fiber, that was Brian when we did that one. All right, now, we do have 2 retiring board members. And then we have retiring staff. Bear with me a second here. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the staff one. We'll start with that one. These are resolutions. Whereas Loretta G. Struthers has served as an integral part of the Emergency Communication Center from July 21st, 2003 to November 30th, 2021. And whereas during Ms. Struthers' years of service, she served as both communication officer and assistant director of emergency communication. And whereas, Ms. Struthers has faithfully and diligently given her talent and knowledge to support the mission of Emergency Communication Center to keep county citizens and visitors safe. And whereas Ms. Struthers has provided unwavering support in the mission of protecting lives and the projects that make the mission a reality. And whereas Mrs. Struthers has positively touched the lives of so many during her service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Madison County, on behalf of the citizens of Madison County, hereby expresses its sincere appreciation to Loretta G. Struthers for her loyal, dedicated, and effective service to the citizens of Madison County, Virginia. Do I want to make a motion to accept this?
Move to accept.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we've got 2 where people are here. Mr. Struthers, great. We have 2 of these. I'll skip to the point of all the different things these 2 members have served on. This one's Amber Foster, and she served for 1 term as member of the Board of Supervisors of Madison County, Virginia, January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2021. And whereas while on the Board of Supervisors of Madison County, Amber Foster has been an invaluable and hardworking team member to the board while serving in various leadership roles throughout the county and on the following committees: the Capital Improvement Plan Committee, the Planning District 9 and 10 Workforce, the Rappahannock and Rapidan Community Service Board, Tourism Committee, School Capital Improvement Plan Committee, Madison County Fire Department Liaison, the Madison Town Council Liaison, Madison County Library Board Liaison, Topping Fund Committee, and Piedmont Workforce Development Board. Amber Foster has earned the admiration and respect of both her colleagues and the citizens of Madison County. And whereas the members of the Board of Supervisors wish to thank Amber Foster for her many contributions during her tenure. Now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Board of Supervisors hereby expresses its sincere gratitude to Amber Foster and her unwavering service to both the Board of Supervisors and residents of Madison County. Amber, thank you very much. And we do have, come on around. Hold on, Chuck. We're going to get everybody down there. I'll read Kevin's tale, not to cut it off, but Kevin Mcgee has served his distinctions for 2 terms as a member of the Board of Supervisors of Madison County, Virginia, January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2021. While on the Board of Supervisors, Kevin Mcgee has diligently and tirelessly devoted both his time and skill set towards the affairs of Madison County while serving on the following committees: the Capital Improvement Plan Committee, Park and Recreation Authority, Rappahannock River Basin Committee, Skyline Cap Partnership, Thomas Jefferson EMS Council, Central Virginia Regional Jail Authority, Transportation Committee, liaison to the town of Madison, Thomas Jefferson Area Criminal Justice Board, Blue Ridge Committee for the Shenandoah National Park, and liaison to the Madison County Library Board. Kevin Mcgee has also pursued the enhancement of Madison County both personally and professionally while serving on the Board of Supervisors. And whereas the members of the Board of Supervisors wish to thank Kevin Mcgee for his many contributions to the board during his 2-term tenure, now therefore be it resolved, the Madison County Board of Supervisors hereby expresses its sincere gratitude to Kevin Mcgee for his unwavering service to both the Board of Supervisors and residents of Madison County. Thank you.
And as our chairman has always referred to Mr. Mcgee as what?
The voice of reason.
The voice of reason.
No, it is what it is. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin and I came on the Board of Supervisors together. Amber joined us a couple of years later. Both of them have been more than willing to serve in any capacity, have been constructive in everything that we've done. We've spent countless hours together. I think Kevin and I used to sit on the end of the Planning Commission row, and I threatened to bump him off the end, which we've now solved, I guess. Kevin is basically the author of the Route 29 corridor study that several other ones of us have taken credit for. And thank you.
It's the governor calling.
Yeah. They've just been great to work with, and we appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's truly been an honor to have y'all up there.
Thank you.
Y'all,
Yeah.
please.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is gonna be bad. I was listening to Mariah Carey all the way, trying to get the tears out, but I've been crying the whole meeting. It means so much to me. One, to even be in this position, but to work with everyone. Our staff is amazing. Not only do they do their job, but they wear it, just like he was saying about Roger, wear multiple hats. Not to be compensated, not to be praised. It's because they love the county, just like all of us. The fire department, I wish Brian was here. I was the liaison for them. Outstanding group. Those men and women, both for fundraising, they're so strong. Training, community events, they're always there. That was an amazing board to sit with. CSB. But I do want to thank everyone. I'm glad we have people like Jonathan Weekly with us, people we've hired and put into as department heads. I think we've really came a long way. And there's so many projects like our babies. So I'll be very excited to see as they develop. But thank you all.
Yeah, and so I hate to follow that, but I echo Amber's praise for the staff and everybody in the county that's, that, obviously has something other than money they're working for, to, that, for the contributions they make. And it's been, an honor and a privilege to represent the county and work with these folks. I've learned a lot about myself serving on the board. Before learning what I've learned about the county and what the county does, and a lot of the, frankly, not pleasant things that the county has to cover, I realized just how blessed I am in every other dimension of my life. Not that this wasn't a blessing, but it's
That's the voice of reason.
yeah. I am really proud of what I mean. Not to take anything away from anybody's ever done, sat on this board before in the past, but it's been this group in the 8 years that I've been here. We've, I think, made some real investments in the future of this county. I mean, real physical investments that are expensive. And we're going to be paying for them for a while. But I sincerely believe that Parks and Rec, Hoover Ridge, it's come a long ways in the last 8 years. We remodeled 2 schools. Look at this place. After 40 or 50 years, finally, we do something in here. And I think this board should be proud of that. And any little piece that I had to take credit for there, I'd like to, take that credit and celebrate. And one more victory lap. The announcement yesterday is a big effing deal. Somebody else say that? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you? All right. Well, it's a big deal, and I have a personal story. So when we were hearing that, my oldest son was accepting his first job offer. And there are 2 important things about that offer to this county's future, I think. One, now he got a good education, started here, Barry, and with, I'd like to thank good parental partnering with good teachers. And it has started here and it is ending in May, God willing, with a master's in civil engineering. The 2 important things about that offer. One, Mom and Dad are really happy about this. That starting offer, the 23-year-old kid, just got him out of diapers, is going to start making more money than the median household income in Madison County. All right? That's a good thing for Madison County, I think. Now, that is not a new thing for Madison County. We've been sending bright kids away from here for ages with no prospects of coming back because they can't do those gigs anywhere. They can't do it here. That, I think, is starting to change, and yesterday was an important thing about that. In that offer was not just a recognition that he could do some of that work remotely by telecommuting. It practically insisted that a bunch of the work that he's going to be doing, he can do in Madison County if he wants to. So I think that's a positive sign for the future of the county. If I had an agenda, because Bill Campbell and I didn't always see eye to eye, but we agreed probably more than you could tell. But he said, Kevin doesn't have an agenda. Kevin actually did have an agenda. And I think we're realizing some of that with my son is an example of where that was. Finally, we can maybe bring some of those kids back. So with that, I thank you, and I'll shut up.
Mr. Chairman, before we definitely need to have a standing ovation, I'd just like to add, because I've got a unique perspective. I don't have any diaper stories on Kevin. I'm sad to say that. But I've had a unique pleasure to serve with most of you in some capacity, particularly you two, whether it's budget work sessions. I know CSB, you've been there a long way. The jail board, I know we had a little rough time with some finances that we worked through, but you each stay committed and convicted to what you felt was the right thing to do. regardless of agendas or not, that conviction is for what's best for Madison County. I know you give up a lot, whether it's kids or plays or games or dinner at a table to attend these meetings. And it is that servant's heart you both carry so well. And I personally appreciate the time and the commitment you and your families have given to Madison counties. So thank you.
I'm gonna really miss writing notes. We wouldn't want anybody to know some of the notes we write.
Anything controversial, we pass our little note back and forth.
Yeah, and the one time that Amber called me and asked me if I could fill in for her at the fire department meeting, I went and got booed. Where's Amber? I said, she couldn't make it. I'm here in her place. Booed. Oh, by the way, Jerry, I think those 2 extra laptops could go to Parks and Rec. Right?
Oh, good idea. Good idea.
We don't have any mini trucks to offer you, but no, thank you all very, very much. It's
Thank
an
you.
honor to have you up here. All right. Information and correspondence. Mr. Weekly.
Anything in particular, we do have a couple of closed session items to get to. So,
back to public. Yeah,
I got a couple quick things which I want you all to know about. Woodbury Forest varsity soccer team organized a car wash to help raise funds for the Madison Free Clinic and did very well. And it just, warmed my heart for those boys over there to realize they're in Madison County and do something for Madison County, because they are Madison County, except everybody calls it Orange. So anyhow, I wanted to let you all know. I wanted to let the public know. And my other thing is Miss Natalie Coates, a senior at Madison. She's a member of the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor's School. She has done an internship, I think, with the Sheriff's Department. And
she has several departments.
Yeah. So she called me about 2 months ago and said that another part of her internship was to learn something about local government. So I told her that I thought it would be relative and a learning experience for her and whoever else in her classes to come to our organizational meeting to see how it all gets started for the year, how you pick a chair and how you do committee assignments and all that stuff. And then come to perhaps the first organized meeting that we have. I don't know, maybe with the planning commission, but probably just the regular board meeting. And she wants to do that. So what I'd like to do is at the organizational meeting, perhaps after we pick a chair and get going, we'll probably have public comment. And I would like to invite her to stand up and tell everybody and introduce herself to us and tell everybody in here what she's here for. So I look forward to seeing her and Barry, who, if they can organize bringing 2 or 3 or 4 other kids from the class out there, that would be great.
We also, Supervisor, we've got the request from Atlas, so when she's said and done with her and our other governor's school classmate will be coming to give a report or a presentation of some sort to the board. We like to hear what they've learned. We hope it's good, but we're very pleased that they've taken up that civics and engagement is important, next generation up, so that they will be coming to give a report at some point.
Okay.
That's some more?
Well, I guess kinda. No, I'll save that for later. Okay, I'll tell. So, Skyline Cap is, and I'm the finance director for Skyline Cap. So I will be recusing myself from this later on. But Skyline Cap is negotiating with Mesa at the current time to buy Barbara's house, which is behind their office up here. It's got 5 apartments in it. So they will be writing for a grant sometime in March, and really need with working with the RRRC, who got $2 million to invest in affordable housing, right, Kevin? One of the $2 million. So Patrick Mauney is working with Skyline on this, and so we'll need or we would help quite a bit for the Board of Supervisors to do a letter of support, and the town as well. So that is coming up.
I think you're the only request that was under budget. Or they mentioned at RRCS last week that they had $2 million, and a bunch of applications wasn't it 6.8 million was a bunch of them. I think y'all are substantially less than what a lot of other people were unrealistic.
So hopefully it'd be nice if we get the grant to get that building. That would create 5 apartments. There are 3 2-bedrooms and 2 3-bedrooms in there.
Congratulations.
That's all I got.
Anybody else have any more information and correspondence? All right, public comment. We've done so well so far. Public comment.
Come on, Greg.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Livingston, anybody? Not a soul. December's a hard month for public comment. All right, we do have a closed session this evening. Thank you all for being here. Go ahead.
I move that the board convene in a closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Sections 2.2-3711A7 for consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank y'all.
Hey, Livingston.
What's that?
This conference is no longer being recorded.
This is for straw.
Yeah.